The Last of Us Part 2. A game that fiercely divides players, commanding a passionate legion of haters alongside an equally devoted multitude of lovers. Like me, this game stands as my undisputed favorite of all time. I've dedicated over 150 hours to the PS4 version of this game and more than 50 hours to the PS5 version, securing platinum trophies on both platforms. This is particularly noteworthy for someone like me, given my usual reluctance to engage with multiplayer games, which requires lengthy single game commitments. But this game truly stands out as something extraordinary. With June 19th marking the 5th anniversary of this game's release, I felt compelled to revisit it for another retrospective. This time, I'll be approaching the game from a different angle, dissecting it bit by bit to truly break down the experience of playing it at launch compared to how it feels today. A key piece of feedback from my previous retrospective earlier this year was a perceived lack of critical depth, and that's something I genuinely aim to address in this video. It goes without saying, but spoiler alert for what's to come. Without further ado, let's now dive into the timeless masterpiece that is The Last of Us Part 2.
I'm gonna find and I'm gonna kill every last one of them.
Arguably, the prologue constitutes the most pivotal chapter of this game. Not only does the entire narrative fundamentally revolve around it, but the game also consistently leverages its significance as a core reference point. The game opens with Joel cleaning a symbolic guitar that he retrieved for Ellie, which immediately transports us, and more importantly Tommy, back to the pivotal events at the conclusion of the first game. These are the very events that, depending on your perspective, either solidified Joel's status as a hero or cemented his role as a villain. To those of us who remain uncertain of his precise moral standing, the designation anti-hero is commonly applied.
Jesus Christ, Joel. What do you do?
I saved her.
The scene is brimming with profound drama and raw emotion, all masterfully showcased through what I consider the best looking cinematics in any game, a standard that remarkably holds true even by 2025 standard. This opening is incredibly memorable for me, easily one of my absolute favorites in the entire game. I still vividly recall June 19, 2020, waking up super early, eager to revisit The Last of Us world after 7 long years of anticipation. That horse ride from these abandoned houses to the Jackson settlement is particularly special to me. Its soft background music, cinematic presentation, and the golden, sun-drenched open field with Joel collectively create an extraordinary atmosphere. This brief ride has no right to possess such an exceptional level of detail. It simply offers a compelling glimpse into what this studio truly stands for. The scene then shifts, and we get our first look at Ellie. And this particular scene is so jarring that it immediately prompts the question, what happened? The palpable distance between Joel and Ellie is undeniable, leaving you feeling profound sadness as you watch these two beloved characters converse. To such an extent, in fact, that Ellie noticeably averts her gaze, unable to look at Joel for long. Things then begin to soften as Joel sings for Ellie, and you can truly see that beloved father-daughter relationship starting to mend, culminating in one of the all-time groan-worthy dad jokes.
What is the downside to eating a clock? It's time consuming.
Mirroring the first game, we are presented with another significant time jump, as the narrative shifts to an older Ellie awakening from sleep. She's accompanied by Jesse as they prepare for their routine daily patrol. This moment also provides our first comprehensive look at the new and improved settlement of Jackson. While the TV show certainly elevated Jackson into a character, the game's depiction remains remarkably alive. You see kids playing in the snow, a dog you can pet, and people simply going about their daily lives. There's an economy seemingly, all contributing to its authentic atmosphere. Next, we join Dina for our patrol, and she's of course immediately likable. Her presence seems to effortlessly draw out the best in this bleaker, darker Ellie we have encountered so far.
I just want to say sorry for running off last night.
Oh, it's okay. I totally get it. I felt bad.
And for those fortunate enough to have avoided spoilers, the trailers undoubtedly led you to believe Dina's death was inevitable. As Dina and Ellie depart for their patrol, the game abruptly shifts focus to a group of unknown individuals. While Joel's death had unfortunately been leaked to me, I had no prior knowledge that Abby would be the one responsible. I vividly recall her introduction at PlayStation's 2017 Paris Games Week conference, and actually playing as her for the first time felt every bit as confusing and jarring as watching that initial reveal trailer. By the way, how incredible does this look? This game's beauty is astounding, still blowing my mind even after beating it more than half a dozen times. After a short walk, we stumble upon Abby and Owen overlooking the Jackson settlement, clearly plotting something nefarious. It was in that moment that it immediately clicked for me. They were after Joel. Immediately after, we dive into our first taste of actual gameplay, now controlling Abby. Playing as her is initially fascinating. She is incredibly powerful, capable of literally taking down infected enemies with her bare hands and feet. We will delve into the broader gameplay elements in sprinkles throughout this video. The narrative then seamlessly switches back to Ellie and Dina as they continue their patrol. This extended exploration through the snow-covered areas surrounding Jackson truly exemplifies why I find playing Part 2 so immensely satisfying. It's in the way Ellie moves, the realistic sway of her backpack, and her meticulous animations for opening drawers and cupboards, while scavenging for supplies and collectibles, highlighting the remarkable tactility and nuance present in every animation. The ability to piece together information directly from the environment and interact with objects like lockers organically rewards through exploration. If Abby's gameplay evokes a sense of raw might, Ellie offers a very different experience, one of nimbleness and agility. She feels inherently resourceful, quick, and incredibly fluid to control, unlike Abby's comparatively more rigid or uptight style. Their patrol is brought to an abrupt halt by a heavy snowstorm, forcing Ellie and Dina to seek refuge in an incredibly cozy library. I also want to briefly mention Eugene, a character who gets a passing reference here in the game, but was amazingly evolved upon in the television show. Speaking of which, you can check out my video breaking down Season 2 of the show. I'll link it in the description box below. Dina and Ellie then unknowingly stumble upon the tranquil, albeit unconventional domain of our cannabis and porn enthusiast character.
Dong of the Wolf. Smash Brandy's cooch. Are these? It's porn.
This location also serves as the setting for what many consider one of the game's most passionate and impactful scene, the kiss between Dina and Ellie. Beyond its intensity, it is a particularly special moment as it offers one of the rare instances where Ellie genuinely appears happy.
This better be better than it sticks.
The game then immediately shifts back to Abby, who finds herself completely overwhelmed by countless infected. As she reaches the point of being cornered, a stunning turn of events unfolds. Joel appears, saving the day. During my first playthrough, this interaction left me profoundly confused. I found myself genuinely questioning if Joel's death was unfolding prematurely. This blend of worry and excitement stemmed from my deep immersion in the game and its relentless succession of dangers. Subsequently, after being cornered yet again, our destination changed, directing us to Baldwin's place. The game again shifts back to the wheat den as Dina and Ellie just finished fucking. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, please consider subscribing, because if you don't...
Ow! Fuck you.
Their intimacy is abruptly interrupted as Jesse arrives. bringing with him concerns about Joel and Tommy's whereabouts. This immediately prompts the trio to leave and begin their search. Upon reaching Baldwin's place, we are confronted with one of gaming's most gut-wrenching and brutal death scenes. Joel is cornered by the enigmatic group we would previously glimpsed.
Why don't you say whatever speech you got rehearsed? Get this over with.
Despite being aware of this event from leaks, I was genuinely blindsided by its early occurrence. Any prior skepticism regarding the narrative's emotional punch post-leak vanished entirely. This scene continues to hit incredibly hard, a testament to its exceptional execution. The atmosphere, the lighting, and especially the poignant performances by voice actors Laura Bailey and Troy Baker flawlessly convey the raw emotions of the moment, reaching you right there in your bedroom. I vividly recall playing through this in 2020. I was so emotionally drained and angry that I actually had to stop playing the game after this very scene.
Stupid old man. You don't get to rush this.
And then, the chapter delivers one final crucial switch. The stories of both protagonists dramatically collide as Ellie finally reaches Baldwin's place. What follows is nothing short of gut-wrenching. Our deep connection to both of these characters makes witnessing Joel's final breaths in front of Ellie feel like an agonizing form of torture. This scene alone makes it clear where the game is headed. A story fundamentally driven by hate, precisely as Neil Druckmann marketed it from day one.
Joel, get up. Joel, fucking get up. Please stop. Please don't shoot. Joel, please get up.
There are subsequent deeply somber scenes I want to fast forward through. From Ellie and Tommy's conversation, Ellie's quiet mourning at Joel's grave, and finally her going through his belongings. While profoundly sad, the key takeaway is that Tommy has sneakily set out for Seattle without telling Ellie to find Abby. And we see Ellie and Dina preparing to leave as their relentless story of revenge is about to commence. Following Abby's trail, Ellie and Dina journey to Seattle's lush west coast. The initial beauty is striking, with overgrown vegetation highlighting humanity's decay. This leads them into downtown Seattle, a vast, explorable hub reminiscent of Naughty Dog's design in Uncharted 4's Madagascar and Lost Legacy's Western Ghats. The amazingly realized environment perfectly showcases the broken remnants of civilian life. Buildings draped in vines, streets cracked and overgrown with moss and wildflowers, and trees sprouting unexpectedly. This creates a hauntingly beautiful contrast between the decaying human world and nature's vibrant, relentless life. From a narrative standpoint, Ellie's Seattle Day 1 feels remarkably peculiar. It's striking how the game permits a deliberate pause after such a pivotal death, especially when a more immediate rush for revenge would be widely anticipated. The objective is straightforward. The WLF's trail leads to the Saravina Hotel, a location accessible only by unlocking the Fuck Fedra gate. To do so, gasoline is required, which necessitates exploring various points within the downtown area. This design allows for the acquisition of supplies, collectibles, and engaging encounters. However, the most compelling aspect is the area's wealth of incredible meta-stories, the very DNA of The Last of Us. Take for instance the failed bank robbery amidst the outbreak, a prime example of its superb environmental storytelling. The military truck with fascist scrawled upon it serves as another prime example of the game's exceptional environmental storytelling. This element has been magnificently elaborated in the series, directly reflecting the collectible discovered within and imbuing this piece of set dressing with greater depth. And of course, the iconic events of the Valiant music store. A moment I just realized in this playthrough is completely missable, which genuinely blows my mind. It stands out as one of the game's sweetest scenes. This is precisely because it draws Ellie and Dina closer, something this chapter as a whole does very well, culminating in Ellie singing "Take on Me" for Dina. With the gate now open, the duo advances towards the Saravina Hotel, only to discover two deceased WLF members. This moment serves as another powerful callback to the first game, as Tommy's interrogation technique clearly mirrors Joel's from the original game. And then, the tables turned. We no longer needed to pursue the WLF, for they sought us out. Ellie is apprehended by them, leaving Dina to ingeniously find her escape. What follows is an exceptionally awesome and profoundly satisfying scene, especially when Ellie gets captured and Dina sweeps in for the rescue. The sheer audacity of Ellie breaking free by using a piece of shattered glass to sever her restraints still astounds me today. It feels like a cinematic cutscene, yet you're actively controlling the action. This intense sequence concludes with the gratifying elimination of Danny, making the first of their targets. This feels like an opportune moment to delve deeper into the gameplay itself. It's crucial to remember that upon its release, The Last of Us Part 2 lacked the no return mode we have now with the remaster. Consequently, I would consistently replay Ellie's Seattle Day 1 to savor its mechanics, given the abundance of varied encounters it offered. For me, The Last of Us Part 2 boasts one of the finest gameplay systems I have ever experienced in a video game. It's not a radical evolution from its predecessor, rather it's a refined iteration that meticulously improves upon all the elements that made the first game so special. The game offers a plethora of tactical approaches. My preferred style is an aggressive, in-your-face approach, which I adore for its bombastic and cinematic intensity. Alternatively, players can opt for stealth, meticulously crouching, utilizing cover, and surveying the environment. It gets incredibly satisfying, particularly with the magnificent gore system that renders every kill profoundly meaningful, a level of impact I've genuinely never witnessed in any other video game. Continuing on Abby's trail, we arrive at the TV station, where the environmental storytelling is once again exceptional. I particularly love how the game steadily builds upon the lore of the Seraphites leading up to this point, effectively showcasing their brutality through the environment itself. Here, we're ambushed by the WLF. After a frantic escape, we are plunged into one of the game's most terrifying sections, the subway tunnels. These tunnels are claustrophobic and dark, a true nightmare, especially on brutal difficulty, with infected lurking around in every corner. This is also where the game introduces a new infected type, the Shamblers. They are indeed quite disgusting to behold. Moreover, I particularly enjoyed how this red-lit tunnel area strategically allowed us to pit the WLF against the infected, letting us sit back and observe the ensuing chaos, perhaps even with some popcorn. Just when we think we have found our way out of the tunnels, we are overwhelmed by a horde of infected. This intense encounter leads to a critical moment. Ellie's gas mask is destroyed, inadvertently revealing her immunity to Dina. What follows is another deeply caring moment between them, as Dina immediately offers to risk her own life by sharing her mask with Ellie.
Ellie, your mask! Here, we can share mine. No! Don't take it! Stop! Ellie, stop! Ellie, stop! What? No! Ellie, no!
Stop! I'm not infected. I'm immune. I'm not coughing, you see?
This intense, roughly 30-minute long chaotic sequence finally concludes as Ellie and Dina reach an abandoned movie theater. I absolutely can't move on without mentioning how the TV show, in my opinion, completely mishandled this scene, especially given how exceptionally well executed it is in the game. And I don't know about you, but Dina's pregnancy genuinely caught me off guard. I certainly didn't see that coming.
I think I'm pregnant.
What? Don't worry, it's not yours.
Of course, Seattle Day 1 ultimately culminates in the one moment that unites both lovers and haters of this game, the Ellie and Joel's flashback at the Wyoming Museum. This flashback is incredibly special, offering a poignant glimpse into what could have been. Many fans, understandably, wished Part 2 would be more of a continuation of this sacred father-daughter bond between Joel and Ellie. In this flashback, Joel and Ellie complement each other so beautifully, serving as a powerful reminder of how these characters are so special and important to us.
Oh, hello. Sorry, the dinosaurs are busy right now.
What are you doing?
Oh, wait. One of the dinosaurs is here. Joel, it's for you.
Very funny.
That was pretty funny. Did you get it? It's because you're old.
Oh, I get it.
It truly showcases that, whatever else Joel may be, it's his relentless love for Ellie that fundamentally defines him. The scene inside the spaceship particularly captures this perfectly.
I do okay.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You're welcome, kiddo.
Ellie's Seattle Day 1 concludes with a stark image. Joel and Ellie standing before a firefly symbol, defaced with the word liars. This powerful visual symbolizes Ellie's full knowledge of and confrontation with Joel's deception regarding the fireflies. It effectively highlights the widening rift in their relationship, directly stemming from Joel's fabrication about the events at the hospital. Ultimately, this poignant flashback serves as a searing reminder of Joel's lie and its profound, damaging impact on their once sacred bond.
I'll walk through the valley.
Ellie's Seattle Day 2 stands out as my unequivocal favorite chapter in the entire game. Its allure stems from a confluence of factors: the opportunity to delve into amazing explorable locations, navigate through a series of incredible encounters, and experience two of the game's finest set pieces. However, the journey to these highlights begins with a straightforward premise. Dina's adjustments to the theater's radio transmission system have pinpointed Tommy's potential whereabouts in this area called Hillcrest. So Ellie gets ready to head there, but she has to leave Dina behind as Dina is still injured.
It's for good luck.
I don't believe in luck.
I do.
When I think of video game settings, Hillcrest immediately comes to mind as one of the absolute best, surpassing even other memorable locations within this game. I've always been drawn to suburban environments, but the way Hillcrest is designed feels uniquely perfect. There's an undeniable desolation to it, a pervasive sadness that truly resonated with me. Walking through the small stores, peering into the coffee shops, and seeing those houses, each one feels incredibly lived in. And it stirs a deep sense that a bustling civilization once existed right there. But that era is long past. Nature has relentlessly encroached, a tangible consequence of the virus's devastation. And this transformation is rendered with such remarkable fidelity. The sight of streets and structures overcome by greenery, while inherently melancholic, is also breathtakingly beautiful. The misty warmth of the summer light, in particular, creates an atmosphere that feels profoundly special and unforgettable. Forget just visuals. Hillcrest is where this game's brilliant level design and cutting-edge enemy AI truly shine. The combat system is unleashed here, throwing its full weight into every encounter. You glide between tight indoor spaces and sprawling outdoor areas, dismantling WLF soldiers with fluid precision. The environment itself encourages dynamic play. Charge in or ghost through, the choice is yours, and the design supports both flawlessly. A palpable urgency presses down, and being isolated in this new, dangerous territory for the first time in this game deepens the immersion tenfold. This is the sequence that cements for me how breathtakingly immersive the gameplay truly is. In our relentless fight through WLF patrols, searching for Tommy, we discover Jesse, a reveal that stirred much debate among players who recall his character being swapped with Joel in early trailers. What ensues is undoubtedly the game's premier set piece, cementing itself as one of Naughty Dog's finest achievements, a studio already legendary for their command of these medium-defining sequences. This is a visceral three-way engagement involving Ellie, the Infected, and the WLF. The encounter is a perfect storm of cinematic flair, grounded realism, and explosive action, making it one of those rare moments where you can barely believe you are actively orchestrating the chaos. Back to the movie theater, Jesse's presence immediately stirs jealousy in Ellie. Dina's focus naturally shifts to the father of her upcoming child, creating a tangible tension. Immediately, we are thrust into another flashback, one I consider needless for the most part. It starts with Ellie using Tommy's sniper rifle, which I didn't enjoy. The shooting felt very fabricated here. But what I absolutely love here is the lighting. It's stunningly gorgeous. That warm, orangish sun just bleeds through, painting the scene as Joel and Ellie search for guitar strings. While this flashback includes some combat, notably a boss fight with a giant bloater, playing as a lesser skilled Ellie meant I honestly didn't enjoy these encounters much. However, the true significance of this segment lies in its concluding cutscene. Once more, the drama and profound depth evident in these cinematics truly elevate these characters, making them feel like authentic individuals rather than simple game characters. This scene provides another stark continuation of the deepening rift between Joel and Ellie. Here, you powerfully witness the distance growing, distrust taking root, and their fundamental conflict intensifying. A critical moment that perfectly foreshadows the tragic events to come.
There was no cure. There's nothing that could help these people or anybody else. I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different. But they ain't.
The narrative transitions back to the present, where Dina's ongoing work with the radio transmission system has, yet again, furnished vital intelligence concerning our targets. Our new information pinpoints Nora's location at the WLF hospital in Seattle. As I emphasized at the beginning of this chapter, the locations we explore here are simply amazing. The lighting with the fog once again is horrifyingly effective, casting an eerie glow on the enemy encounters, which were genuinely terrifying. The way they catch you off guard is truly scary. Even now, that first encounter in the diner remains unsettling. I still occasionally forget the infected lurking within. Then the workbench encounter, which genuinely terrified me back in 2020, has since become a tactical exercise where I dispatch them quickly with a sticky bomb. Yet, the true masters of horror in this area are undoubtedly the stalkers. Their introduction is horrifying, consistently scaring the living daylights out of me. The sheer notion that they're stealthily hunting me just as I'm trying to hunt them is a thought that sends immediate shivers down my spine, elevating the tension significantly. My instinct is to flee them at every opportunity, and the scares don't let up there. Next, we face the Seraphites, whose haunting whistles are enough to drive you mad. This section, a direct realization of the gameplay first shown at E3 back in 2018, exemplifies truly remarkable level design. The dense fog, shimmering puddles, and ubiquitous green foliage, coupled with the ominous presence of the Seraphites, create an incredibly potent and effective atmosphere. This chapter strategically unveils Seattle's underlying conflict between the WLF and the Seraphites, prompting the player to ponder the broader geopolitical currents shaping the story. Our journey continues through the hospital, marked by further engagements with WLF forces. Encounters that maintain the game's extraordinarily immersive gameplay as we relentlessly track Nora.
Where's Abby?
You still hear his screams?
What?
I hear them every night. Yeah. Yeah, that little bitch got what he deserved.
The climax arrives with another standout set piece, a desperate chase through the hospital's corridors, culminating in Nora's ultimate entrapment in the basement, rendered entirely vulnerable to the virus. The subsequent events irrevocably alter Ellie, making a profound turning point in her character arc. As someone who deeply cherishes Ellie from the first game, this scene is in many ways profoundly difficult to endure. This is a starkly different Ellie. She is now utterly consumed by the lust of revenge. Her eyes, reflecting the ominous red glow of the environment, speak volumes as she brutally tortures Nora to death in a relentless pursuit of Abby's location. This moment unequivocally seals her fate, asserting that there is no redemption. She has fully embraced a bloodthirsty path. As if to twist the knife further, the game immediately pulls us into another excruciating flashback. We find Ellie meticulously combing through Salt Lake Hospital, desperately trying to piece together the truth of Joel's actions that fateful day. It's here that the simmering rift, teased throughout previous flashbacks, finally erupts in devastating fashion. Joel can no longer sustain his deception. The true cost of his lies now becomes clear. This scene doesn't just end, it bookends Joel and Ellie's once sacred relationship, ensuring it will never, ever be the same.
Making a vaccine would have killed you. So I stopped them.
Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life.
The third day in Seattle for Ellie feels like the very last lap of a race. I remember back in 2020 vividly thinking this was it, the game's absolute final chapter. So the premise once again is quite simple. Jesse and Ellie are teaming up, driven by their desire to track down Tommy, whom they believe is also on the hunt for Abby. Dina unfortunately is gravely ill, meaning they had to leave her behind at the theater once again. Seattle's transformation in Day 3 is stark. Unlike previous chapters, where it defined the narrative in a way, the city now serves primarily as a grimy backdrop. This iteration of Seattle is an ugly, more ruined version than you'll remember, with no clear path forward. Everywhere you look, there is brokenness and decay, all while the prominent Ferris wheel screams for attention in the distance. The constant downpour is undeniably the highlight of this chapter, with everything flooded and nothing but water everywhere. It makes for some truly interesting explorations. We are forced to take detours, moving seamlessly between indoor and outdoor environments, all to find our way forward. A defining conflict erupts when Jesse and Ellie clash over their priorities, rescuing Tommy or pursuing Abby to fulfill Ellie's quest for vengeance. This scene starkly reveals an Ellie utterly transformed, her vision now entirely obscured by a consuming lust for revenge. Her concern for her friends and responsibilities to Jackson is eclipsed by this singular obsession. This fundamental disagreement ultimately forces Ellie and Jesse to go their separate ways.
Jesus Christ.
The best way to help Tommy is to go after Abby. You do this, I'm not saving your ass again.
I really hope you make it.
We're immediately plunged into another intense WLF encounter, requiring us to outsmart them to secure a boat for a swifter path to Abby. What truly shines here is the game's phenomenal level design, yet again, which consistently makes navigating the environment and experimenting with our full arsenal of weapons with different tactics an absolute blast. We steal the boat, and it's at this juncture that the ubiquitous Ferris wheel, a constant in the background, unexpectedly clicks into place. More than just scenery, it transforms into an indispensable visual guide. This subtle yet profound revelation brilliantly highlights the game's extraordinary symbolism. My praise for this backdrop portrayal of Seattle remains unwavering. The intricate ruins, rendered inaccessible by the pervasive flood, are expertly crafted. The combined force of the weather, lighting, and sound design generates an almost suffocating sense of dread, imbuing every moment with the gravity of a final stand. And speaking of ruins, the destroyed train dangling from a bridge is without a doubt the game's finest. It speaks volumes about the past world through its very presence, a silent yet profound narrative. Plus, the sheer thrill of scaling it to pick off Seraphites with a sniper is an unforgettable gameplay bonus. Ellie presses on towards the Ferris wheel, but the intensifying rain and powerful current make rowing the boat incredibly difficult. Despite the struggle, she eventually makes it. The final stretch, the aquarium, is dark and somber. And back in 2020, I distinctly felt this is it. The expectation was clear. Abby would die, and Dina and Ellie would finally live happily ever after. But then, we should have known better. This is The Last of Us, a game that simply doesn't do happy. We didn't find Abby. Instead, we stumbled upon two other targets, Owen and Mel. In Ellie's desperate attempt to locate Abby, Ellie fails horribly, and as they say, the rest is history. Tommy, Jesse, and Ellie make their way back to the theater. It seems they managed to convince Ellie that enough is enough. She can't continue down this path, and they should all return back to Jackson. Back in 2020, of course, this felt incredibly wrong. I couldn't comprehend what they were doing or what was truly happening. But then, Abby herself sneaks in, and in one of the most shocking deaths I've ever witnessed, shoots Jesse in the face. She then points the gun at Ellie, and the screen cuts to black.
You killed my friends. We let you both live. And you wasted it!
Then suddenly, we're playing as Abby. I absolutely did not see this coming, even if it leaked for others. The game immediately throws us back to the conclusion of the first game, revealing Abby's father as the surgeon who was meant to operate on Ellie. We all know how that unfolded. Initially, despite my love for the game, this felt like the wrong decision. They wanted us to instantly empathize with Abby, but I felt nothing but anger. Now though, after many playthroughs, I understand this was entirely intentional. As for Joel's death, while controversial, I've always maintained that in this brutal world, no one is safe. His demise felt organic, and it was made with a lot of love, not forced, though I do regret that it wasn't given more room to breathe. They could have let it cook a little more. A longer, more drawn-out moment for his death would have better fulfilled the 7 years of anticipation I and many others had for more of his character. But I digress. When you least expect it, the game showcases Seattle Day 1 in bold text, implying a return to square one. Only this time, we're seeing the chaos we experienced with Ellie from Abby's perspective. This was definitely tough. At this point in the game, I still hated Abby, and I wished for her death. And the cast of characters on Abby's side of the story initially didn't help. I received a lot of negative comments in my last retrospective for saying that, but I stand my ground. In my opinion, they're not very likable people. Jordan is uninteresting, I hate Manny because he spit on Joel's body, and Mel is fine. But I still stuck with it in 2020 because I wanted to see where they would take it, and I was really enjoying the insight we were getting into the WLF as a faction. Specifically, their way of life and their visually impressive stadium base were fascinating, and seeing them operate was truly awesome. Abby's first day in Seattle sets the scene from the WLF's viewpoint. Accompanied by Mel and Manny, Abby's team set out to a fob for what seemed like a standard medical task. This journey also subtly reveals the fierce ongoing civil war between the Seraphites and the WLF. The sheer frequency of their encounters in such a brief period establishes a clear tone for what inevitably lies ahead. At the fob, the Civil War's ugliness and disarray become starkly apparent through the constant influx of dead bodies and the entire force's palpable readiness to either defend or attack. A particularly striking scene that exemplifies this is the brutal torture of a Seraphite man by Isaac, the WLF leader. Furthermore, Isaac is meticulously planning a major assault on the Seraphite island, intending to conceal their movements under the cover of the approaching storm. Abby's immediate concern, however, is demanding Owen's inclusion in her team, a request complicated by their ongoing conflict and his perplexing disappearance. Immediately, the game thrusts us into a flashback between Abby and Owen, a pivotal moment where my initial dislike for Abby began to soften. Much like Ellie, she is utterly consumed by the quest to avenge her father, a singular focus that dominates her every thought. This fixation is so intense that she refuses to miss a single day at the gym, even pushing away the love of her life in this revealing flashback.
I know all the leads have dried up, but Joel's still out there, you know?
I know. What can I do?
Let's go back. We can still make training.
By the way, Max and his family story in this chapter deserves special mention. It's a prime example of The Last of Us's unique power, as its narrative unfolds entirely through environmental storytelling, specifically murals and notes. Despite this indirect approach, Max's experiences resonate so deeply and are masterfully integrated into the overarching story. We then return to the present, as Manny assists Abby in sneaking out to find Owen. The symbolism here is incredibly potent. The Ferris wheel, consistently lit, remains a constant fixture in the backdrop, serving as a powerful, ever-present guide throughout this entire journey. This segment finally offers another profoundly detailed glimpse into the Seraphites, a fascinating religious cult. It's particularly compelling to observe them so intimately after our previous encounters as Ellie. From the revealing murals and fragments of the Prophet's story to the powerful presence of Martyr's Gate, the game consistently delivers unparalleled environmental storytelling. I also want to briefly touch on playing as Abby, though we will delve into more detail later. I immediately feel a significant sense of safety when controlling her. Her military presence and the sheer power she exudes, from her weapon handling to her imposing size, truly convey an impression of being invincible. Yet, that perceived invincibility quickly vanishes. Abby is soon overwhelmed by a group of Seraphites, and without warning, the game propels us into another flashback. Here, we witness the aquarium metamorphose into a living character through Owen's touch, adorned with an entire Christmas decoration. The main motive of this flashback is to further establish Abby's relentless hunt for her father's killer. She has information on Tommy that she believes will lead her directly to Joel.
Hey. We're doing this together, right?
Of course.
We are back in the present, and this is the very cutscene that introduced Abby at PlayStation's Paris Games Week in 2017. We are also introduced to Lev and Yara, the Seraphite sibling duo who harbor deep disgruntlement toward their faction. This particular scene is truly insane, both for the sheer brutality displayed by the Seraphites and its stunning visual execution. It's precisely why I argue this game boasts the best looking cinematics in our industry, and this scene stands as a prime example of that unmatched quality. The gameplay section immediately following this scene is equally intense. Fighting stalkers in the dark, somber jungle amidst the downpour creates a truly horrifying experience. What's more, Abby herself is an absolute beast, making the encounters even more visceral. Naughty Dog is clearly striving to make players connect with Abby's character through these intense story beats and engaging gameplay. And frankly, it's proving to be quite effective. We help the sibling duo escape the chaos and find refuge in a trailer. At this point, I truly begin to care for Abby as the game reveals her softer sides. Her compassion for Yara in this scene highlights the transformation.
What's your name?
Abby.
As our journey towards the Ferris wheel continues, it presents a perfect opportunity to appreciate the formidable experience of playing as Abby. Her distinctive arsenal is truly exceptional. The shotgun with its dual ammunition types offers strategic versatility, while the flamethrower provides both a visual spectacle and visceral satisfaction. The crossbow subtly elevates stealth mechanics, allowing for refined tactical approaches alongside indispensable tools like the pipe bomb. This diverse kit significantly diversifies combat encounters, and candidly, I find Abby's weapon set equally, if not more compelling than Ellie's. And by the way, I have to gush about this game's visuals. My goodness. Abby finally reaches the Ferris wheel, where she finds Owen hiding in the boat glimpsed earlier. This scene holds significant weight. Owen articulates his exhaustion with the ongoing Seraphite conflict, profoundly affected by meeting a Scar prepared to end their own life. He also shares his plan to leave Seattle and rejoin the Fireflies, who are reforming in Santa Barbara. This triggers a heated argument, and they fuck. Abby's Seattle Day 1 ends in a terrifying nightmare, the surgery room where she witnesses the sibling duo hanged. This horrific dream drives her to help them immediately, the next day. Before diving into this chapter, it's crucial to note a recent development. Naughty Dog released an update allowing chronological playthrough of this story. This exciting addition has given me another compelling reason to replay the game, and I'd be thrilled to make a chronological retrospective for you all. Please let me know in the comments if you want that. Okay, back to the chapter. Abby's Seattle Day 2 commences with an encounter against the Seraphites as she journeys to the trailer where Lev and Yara are hiding. Upon arrival, she finds Yara gravely ill from her broken arm and Lev is barely holding on against the Seraphites. Abby then escorts them back to the aquarium to Mel. This sets up the immediate premise for what becomes a very gameplay-focused chapter. Yara faces a dire emergency. She needs surgery for compartment syndrome, and securing the necessary medical supplies is paramount. With the hospital seemingly out of reach for Abby in time, Lev provides a lifeline, disclosing a shortcut that the Seraphites employ to avoid the WLF.
We built bridges high up. It's how we get around the flooding and you people.
This is precisely where I begin to truly connect with Abby's character. She's risking everything to protect this duo, individuals who are ostensibly her enemies, even confronting her own people to ensure their safety. As Lev and Abby begin their journey toward Lake Hill Hospital, the game immediately showcases more masterstroke in its level design. I know I might sound like a broken record, but when a game repeatedly delivers such brilliance, why wouldn't I keep highlighting it? What truly sets this chapter apart are its 3 distinct level designs, each of which, in my opinion, stands as some of the finest our industry has ever produced. The first exceptional design is the meticulous ascent to the bridge through the flooded city. We navigate a complex path, weaving in and out of buildings, constantly seeing the Seraphites' footprints that mark their presence, and occasionally engaging them in combat as we push ever upward. One of this journey's accomplishments lies in how skillfully Lev's backstory is unveiled through exploration. We gain subtle insights into his past, with Yara promising deeper revelations in the following chapter. The second masterwork of level design is, of course, the Seraphite Bridge itself. When Lev initially mentions its existence, it seems almost superficial. However, upon finally seeing it, its creation by the Seraphites makes perfect sense. Crossing it was an absolute adrenaline rush, especially with Abby's intense fear of heights juxtaposed against Lev's unwavering faith in divine power. A truly amazing dynamic. Indeed, her pronounced fear of heights proved entirely warranted in that moment.
Abby! Hold on! Hold me up!
Fortunately, Abby and Lev survived the incredible fall, thanks to a well-placed swimming pool inside the building. This sets the stage for the third and final masterclass in level design, a methodical descent through a completely ruined and dilapidated interior. The experience involving leaping between floors and confronting nearly every type of infected, making it genuinely horrifying and scary. It feels like navigating a complex maze, and that's precisely its genius, particularly when playing on the highest difficulty. The immersion is unparalleled. The atmosphere alone compels you to question what truly transpired within its walls, while the collectibles offer tantalizing glimpses into its past. After the preceding chaos, Abby leaves Lev behind, as the presence of a scar might spook the WLF soldiers, as we arrive at the hospital for the desperately needed medical supplies. Here, an encounter with Nora immediately highlights the shocking proximity of Ellie and Abby's paths. This very hospital also lays claim to one of the game's premier set pieces. It's as if the developers are aggressively delivering their finest narrative beats, making Abby's gameplay just as captivating as Ellie's. And again, I'm truly struck by how the game orchestrates the build-up to the Rat King encounter, by revealing the brutal conditions below and the chilling fact that the first ever Cordyceps infected patient was admitted there. A profound tension is created within the player long before the descent even begins.
We haven't cleared out the lower floors yet.
Would they have what I need?
Yeah, probably, but it's rough down there.
The Rat King fight is an experience so nerve-wracking, it defies description. Even on New Game Plus, with all my weapons and skills unlocked and upgraded, I faced multiple deaths to finally overcome it. This encounter is both difficult and deeply immersive, consuming every last bullet and supply. I must say, this particular exploration of Ground Zero also brought a significant realization back in 2020. I understood how "look for the light" served as a pervasive symbolism throughout the entire game. The same principle applied to both finding the medical supplies and finding your way out of this shithole, with the lights consistently guiding your path. When Lev and Abby finally reunite, I can't help but feel a profound resonance with Joel and Ellie's initial cutscene in Pittsburgh. Indeed, this specific cutscene vividly brings that earlier dynamic to mind. And frankly, it's a realistic parallel to how I perceive Abby and Lev's relationship. Back at the aquarium, thanks to Mel's medical skills, Yara has undergone a successful surgery and is now recovering well. This amazing chapter I want to conclude with the very symbolism I alluded to earlier, explicitly articulated by Owen himself.
What happened to us?
Maybe we stopped looking for the light.
Abby's Seattle Day 3 is without a doubt my favorite chapter on her side of the story. It is incredibly character-centric and narrative-heavy, not to mention how flawlessly it connects with Ellie's journey. However, it begins quite frustratingly with this conversation between Abby and Mel.
I haven't always done the right thing.
You're a piece of shit, Abby.
You always have been. I'm done with you. You want to do right by these kids? Get out of their lives before you screw them over too.
The scene transitions to the long-awaited revelation of Lev's backstory. Born Lily and designated a wife to an elder by the Seraphites, Lev courageously rebelled against their strict gender roles by shaving his head, a defiant act that marked him as an apostate. Following that, we finally witnessed the conversation between Owen and Abby, and surprisingly, Owen became more likable to me here. Even though he's cheating on Mel, who is pregnant with his child, coupled with his enduring feelings for Abby, paints Owen as a truly complex figure. But I think he means well, especially when considering his choice to spare Ellie and his offer to take Lev and Yara to the Fireflies. Their conversation abruptly ends as Lev stealthily slips away, convinced he can persuade his mother to join them to the Fireflies, a belief Yara doesn't share. This sudden departure establishes the chapter's premise, Yara and Abby's perilous journey to the Seraphite Island.
I'm not gonna let her go by herself.
Actually, you are.
I can help.
Yeah, by staying here and fixing the fucking sailboat. Get your priorities straight. Yara, let's go.
This chapter starts rough for Abby. After a bit of exploring, they reach a dock, and in her attempt to clear the way for injured Yara, Abby suddenly stumbles upon Manny, who is being relentlessly sniped by an unknown assailant. I really enjoyed this short gameplay section. It's all about evading fire, scrambling for cover, squeezing between cars, and finally making it into a parking garage to flank this individual. What unfolds next is, for me, one of the most uniquely satisfying scenes in the entire game. The unknown assailant finally snipes Manny down. Man, I hated this guy. How dare he spit on Joel's dead body? What kind of person does that? Fuck that guy. Shortly afterward, Abby discovers that the person responsible for Manny's death is one of the Miller brothers. You know, the alive one.
Who was that?
As Abby and Yara continue their journey to the Seraphite village, I find myself truly appreciating this unique setting, as it stands apart from every other environment we've seen in The Last of Us world. It is both serene and verdant. the lush foliage brought vibrantly to life by the continuous downpour. However, this beauty is sharply contrasted by the inherent brutality of the Seraphites. The village's distinct huts, farm, barns, and croplands are pivotal, setting our multiple confrontations with the Seraphites apart from anything else in the game. Moving around and meticulously taking them down, while hidden in the croplands for example, was quite enjoyable. We finally reach Lev, who in an act of self-defense has killed his mother. I appreciate how the game avoids visually depicting this encounter, leaving it to our imagination. As the trio continues their escape from the island, dusk settles, bringing with it a palpable sense of the calm before the storm. Then, without warning, Yara is abruptly shot to death by a WLF soldier. Who could have seen this coming? This game, man, constantly surprises with its character deaths. It takes bold risks and never sensationalizes these moments, as death is always instantaneous. Speaking of which, not that it matters, they killed Isaac as well, as Abby and Lev desperately run for their lives. By the way, this is a great opportunity to remind you to subscribe to this channel, because
You're my people.
their escape from the island leads Abby and Lev directly into the brutal and ugly war raging between the Seraphites and the WLF. This encounter proves particularly interesting because you're utterly confused about whom you should shoot. The conflict between these two factions utterly erupts here, showcasing what I believe is the game's finest set piece. The exhilarating horse ride through the burned down village is a visual spectacle, where you are constantly shooting down adversaries, giving it the distinct feel of a sequence straight out of an Uncharted game. Their hurdles out of the village persist. Abby and Lev become trapped in a burning hut, manage to escape, but then immediately face a new challenge when a Seraphite brute attacks them. Luckily, this proved to be the final hurdle. Abby and Lev finally escape on a boat, both utterly drained from all the losses they endured in the village, from Manny's death to Yara's. The losses continue for Abby. Finding Owen and Mel dead in the aquarium extinguishes her last glimmer of hope and the final people in her life, directly leading to the confrontation between our two beloved protagonists.
You killed my friends. We let you both live. And you wasted it!
Wait! Get off of her! Move me!
Come on.
This confrontation is incredibly difficult to process. In 2020, I was convinced Tommy had also been killed, leaving me utterly emotionally drained by the sheer number of deaths. Despite my affection for Abby, I found myself unable to fight Ellie. Given my 7-year devotion to her character, the game simply imposed another form of torture on us. The battle itself still feels very high stakes, even replaying it after so many times, with everything seemingly on the line. Though I find its gameplay aspects rather perplexing. Ellie teetering on the brink of death was saved by Dina's intervention, which was then immediately countered by Lev's arrow shot. Just as Abby was about to kill Dina, Lev stopped her, giving Abby another opportunity to be the bigger person. By letting Ellie survive, once again, she seemingly halted the cycle of violence.
Don't ever let me see you again.
I used to think that the day would never come, that my life would depend on the morning sun.
The game then transports us somewhere in the future, showing Ellie playing with Dina's adorable little baby. Ellie has also become an artist now, painting portraits and seemingly living a happy life with Dina. They make love, dance together, herd sheep, and enjoy the magnificent view outside their farm. Back in 2020, this chapter, for the second time, felt like the game's true final chapter. Ellie appears genuinely content with Dina on their farm, seemingly past the immense trauma she endured throughout the game. However, all of this was merely a facade. The scene of Ellie hunting outside the farm is incredibly captivating. The golden fields gently sway in the wind, harmonizing perfectly with Ellie's every movement. She makes her way back to the house, and to her great relief, Tommy is alive, albeit with impaired vision in one eye and a noticeable limp. He possesses intelligence regarding Abby's whereabouts in Santa Barbara, California, as he urges Ellie to pursue her once more to avenge Joel's death. The ensuing conversation inevitably grows heated, as Dina adamantly refuses. Yet you can clearly discern Ellie's burgeoning second thoughts in her eyes. As the player, I could almost hear the words echoing in my head. "Don't do it, Ellie." We are immediately taken back to another flashback, the notorious barn scene, first showcased at PlayStation's E3 2018. This cutscene is an absolute technical marvel. You can almost feel the sweat and see the birthmarks on Dina's face, the freckles on Ellie's, and the precise indentations of their noses and lips as they kiss. It sets a new standard. No other game has ever managed this level of visual fidelity, even today, in 2025. But the positive sentiments for this scene cease there. The exchange between Joel and Ellie is like a relentless stab to the heart. It pains me to witness Ellie speak to Joel this way, particularly after his protective intervention with Seth. My immediate thought at this moment was, Naughty Dog, what have you done? What has become of this relationship? Is this really their final conversation?
You alright, kiddo?
What is wrong with you?
He had no right.
And you do? I don't need your fucking help, Joel.
Right.
Back in the present, Ellie is seen preparing her backpack, donning Joel's jacket, as she sets off after Abby. She simply can't let it go. She has to do this, and not even the love of her life could stop her from the final stretch.
I'm not gonna do this again.
That's up to you.
My morning sun is the drug that brings me near to the childhood I lost, replaced by fear.
Now in Abby's shoes, we find ourselves in Santa Barbara as she pursues a lead on the Fireflies at a location called 2425 Constance. Abby intercepts a radio communication, a scene where Laura Bailey's performance truly astounded me in this playthrough. Abby's rapid emotional shifts, from excitement to sadness to disappointment, are so expertly voiced that I felt entirely immersed in her experience.
If anyone can hear me, please reply. Please answer.
Hi, Abby. We got a clear signal on you. Where in Santa Barbara you calling from?
2425 Constance. We got a tip about a base, but there's no one here. We're looking for fireflies. I'm a firefly.
The rumors proved true. A Firefly group, approximately 200 strong, is indeed regrouping on Catalina Island. While Abby and Lev's eyes momentarily sparkle with hope, their relief is short-lived, as they're immediately confronted by the Rattlers, Santa Barbara's controlling faction. The game then switches back to Ellie, who has just arrived in Santa Barbara, relentlessly pursuing Abby. This chapter is without a doubt my least favorite in the entire game. Don't get me wrong, from a gameplay and exploration standpoint, it boasts the beautiful and noble coastal city of Santa Barbara. It's particularly fascinating to observe how the apocalypse has manifested differently across various states. We get a glimpse into the Rattlers as a faction that enslaves people, forcing them into labor within their prisons. The chapter features multiple amazing encounters with them. I particularly found the ones where the Rattlers inexplicably tied up infected within their base to be incredibly tense, immersive, and fun. But all of it, in my opinion, feels like excess fat. negatively impacting the pacing. Ellie fights through the final Rattler base. One of the enslaved individuals informs Ellie that Abby has been sent to the pillars on the beach and is likely dead. As dusk falls once more, it prepares the player for something unsettling, something ominous. Ellie reaches the pillars and discovers both Abby and eventually Lev tied there. Abby in particular is unrecognizable, having lost significant muscle mass. The full horror she likely endured during her captivity is left to our interpretation. They begin another slow walk towards the beach, but something feels deeply wrong. Ellie is visibly conflicted, the bloody image of Joel flashing in her mind, a memory she simply cannot let go.
I can't let you leave. I'm not doing this.
Ellie and Abby clash once more in a fight that is bloody, brutal, and harrowing. Truly unwatchable if the story resonated with you and you, like me, care deeply about both of them. It hardly feels like a fair fight, but it continues nonetheless. Abby bites off two of Ellie's fingers, the very fingers she uses to play her guitar. The confrontation reaches a critical point, where Ellie could simply drown Abby to death. However, another image flushes in her mind. This time, it's Joel sitting on a porch playing a guitar. We're momentarily confused by this sudden shift, but Ellie seemingly finds her humanity in this particular flash, allowing Abby and Lev to escape. Ellie finally achieves a form of closure, and we witness the cycle of violence brought to a halt. Ellie returns to the firm, but everything is gone. Dina is gone, JJ is gone. All that remains is her last tangible memory of Joel, his guitar, which she can no longer play due to her lost fingers. The game then shifts to its final flashback, revealing the actual last conversation between Joel and Ellie. Let me just say it plainly, this is without a doubt the most powerful cutscene I've ever experienced in a video game. It powerfully showcases the immense importance of these two characters. They finally address their core conflict, and Ellie expresses how Joel, in her eyes, destroyed her last opportunity to give her life meaning. Though I'm not typically emotional, in 2020 I found tears flowing from my eyes as Joel spoke his final words in this pivotal moment.
If somehow the Lord gave me a second chance at that moment, I would do it all over again.
It proves his relentless love for Ellie, showing how he considers anything and everything lawful and right as long as he can protect her. This cutscene during my first playthrough was make or break, mending all my anger towards the writers. I simply said, they did it. They did it perfectly. The game ends with Ellie leaving the farm and her guitar behind. It was at that moment I understood. Her journey was predetermined for tragedy. I see Ellie as representing the moth within the guitar, irresistibly drawn to a light, a parallel to her own pull towards revenge. Their paths tragically converge in the same destination: self-destruction. Alright, The Last of Us Part 2. After an hour of discussion, what's left to say? It's a timeless masterpiece, remaining among the best video games ever made. This game excels in most areas, often setting the gold standard even 5 years on. I just can't put this game down. Its presentation is peerless, its immersive third-person action gameplay is second to none, and its storytelling and character development are simply unmatched. While I acknowledge its divisive narrative, its unique ability to evoke powerful emotions, unlike any other video game, is undeniable. I truly think this story's player reception would have been different if the story did not leak originally. The leak really did hurt this game. But I feel the views are more positive now, and people are appreciating this game the way it deserves. Indeed, there are aspects of this story I'd approach differently. My revisions would include introducing Abby sooner, giving Joel's death more time to cook, and entirely removing the excessive Santa Barbara gameplay sections at the end. While no game achieves absolute perfection, this one, in my opinion, comes the closest. My intention for this video was to lavish my favorite game of all time with the love and respect it truly merits. To achieve a comparable production value to the game itself, I personally handpicked and curated every single frame of this video. So you clicking the subscribe button would genuinely make all my hard work worthwhile. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2. Do you love it as much as I do, or is it not for you? Drop a comment below. Both of your kind is welcome. Just be respectful to each other. Thank you for your time. Rakzplayz signing off.
I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. But I would like to try.
I'd like that.